Yo guys, welcome back, it is Ripe again, back with episode 54 of our Reddit series, and I hope you're ready to get annoyed at some entitled people. But before you do, please consider clicking the bell icon in case you are subscribed already to not miss any of my uploads. So without any further ado, let's hop right in. Entitled customer comes in and treats employees like personal servants. Okay, so this is my first post here, and after working at this place for a year, this has been the only noticeably bad interaction, so I will count my blessings. For some context, I work at a popular coffee shop that happens to be the crossroads for older people in the town and the college students that live nearby. I work with many wonderful people and I enjoy the wisdom of some of our older patrons. It's nice. The characters in today's story are myself, the OP, my shift supervisor who's the nicest and most accommodating and knowledgeable person, SS, as well as entitled lady who thinks she's owed complete servitude, EP. It was a day like any other. The shop was not busy, customers were content, and I was busy helping clean some things before we hit the rush for the later part of the shift. While doing dishes, I am taking displays that have been cleaned to the front. My SS is happily working the register and making just about every customer smile. And that is when a customer approaches the counter. They are very belligerent, talking about how bad the service she gets is. He of course helps her out and she decides she wants to sample some coffee. Now we have a policy that only our small sample cups are to be used. SS knows this and gets them and fills it with coffee. I leave and come back after he's done and he has what I can say is the first fake smile he has ever given on his face. This being odd as SS loves people and accommodating them. So I decide to look over to EP. She had her coffee and her sugar packets on the table and looked very disgruntled. I chatted with SS for a couple sentences about the things we need done when under her breath I could hear her mumble something about talking behind others' backs. I asked if SS wanted to head to the back for a bit, maybe get some dishes done to some music, which he happily agreed to. I decided to head to the lobby and see if she needed help. For all I knew, maybe she was a bit elderly and her hands could not open the packets, or maybe she still needed something. That was my first mistake. Me, hello ma'am, is there anything I can help you with? EP,
oh yes, I just need some cream for my coffee.
Me, aka OP, oh well, is the pitcher over there empty? EP,
what pitcher?
I look confused as it's the silver one on the stand next to the table she sat at. OP, the silver one over there. EP,
could you bring it?
I do, as I am a bit of a doormat. As I bring it, she asks if I can pour some in a cup for her. OP, okay, let me get one. I grab a sample cup as I can tell she has not purchased anything.
Well, how am I supposed to fit my coffee in that?
Well ma'am, it's a sample cup you have and I brought the second one so you could mix it right. EP,
could you help me then?
I make small talk as I help her pour them.
SS, he was talking about me to you, wasn't he?
I am taken aback. No, I don't think so. We were just talking about tasks we need done soon.
Nonsense. All people like him are rude.
Now one thing I forgot to mention was that SS is older than me, easily an adult. I never asked him, but he seems about 30 and as mentioned, he has been with the store for a long time, he knows everyone by name and always seems to have a connection with new people. Honestly, if the manager quit, I would expect him to be the next owner. No ma'am, SS is a good friend of mine, that does not sound like him. I realized I left the pitcher on the table and pick it up. I also pick up her empty sugar packets to throw away. I see her pick up her cup and take a sip and add more sugar, showing she hasn't needed help. I'm gonna go throw these out and put this up.
Don't leave for long.
I head to the back and find SS. I understand what happened now. SS, yeah. I get back to cleaning and next time I look over, she's gone and of course, she left her trash and spills everywhere. I ask what exactly EP did around him and he says she wanted him to sit there and mix and open sugar for her and it took a while for him to excuse himself because she kept saying that it was his job to help her, and him, always striking to please, just had to throw on his first fake smile in years. Well, what do you expect? The customer is obviously always right, even if he or she is a beggar and only wants free stuff. So my aunt and grandma chased me in their car. Okay, so my grandma and my aunt on my mother's side and I are not on good terms. And I put that lightly. They helped my younger, mentally disabled sister to run away from home at 18 and said that my deceased mom and dad were not good for each other. I have letters from my mom disproving this, and they loved each other very, very much. And all around they have been drama starting, self-centered jerkwads since I've known them. So I would rather not have to deal with them, but I still love them. But I also fancy my personal sanity as well. So I am at Walmart buying shampoo and looking through the fabric section, and I get a text from my aunt.
Are you at Walmart?
I cannot see her anywhere, and I ask, why? And she responds with,
Are you or aren't you?
I ain't telling her nothing. Perhaps it's my upbringing, but usually if you see someone at Walmart that you know, the proper thing to do is walk up to them and say hi, not this odd,
I see you
kind of acting. Eventually, my aunt tells me that she and my grandma are there and would like to see me. I would rather not go through my grandma's fake crying and my aunt asking about my private life. Not that I don't love them, but I also have a right to my own business. So I continue my shopping about half an hour or so to get bread and the like. Keep in mind, my dad was also recovering from getting out of the hospital, so I am in a bit of a rush to get home. I get out to the parking lot and I've parked down a ways to avoid Walmart parking mayhem. I almost get there and I hear a car zooming up from behind me. I look and see my aunt's car darting across the parking spaces, and she's shouting that child nickname she keeps calling me. I am 22 and my grandma is in the passenger side. Now, I may have been a bit rash in my decision, but I'm on foot in the parking lot and a car is speeding up behind me. So what do? I bolted. I almost get to my car and my aunt swerves by the driver's side to cut me off. So I darted around to the other side, threw my stuff in the bag, climbed into the passenger side and crawled to the driver's seat. They finally left after I started the car. They had waited for me in the parking lot, chased me in their car and tried to keep me from leaving, and later called my dad asking why I was acting crazy. This is why I don't like dealing with those two. They don't own me, they are not my parents, and I'm not obligated to deal with people who do nothing but cause a bunch of drama. Don't get me wrong, I still love them, but boy, do they make it hard sometimes. Quite frankly, I would not be interested in the slightest to interact with them if they talk crap about my mom. So I don't really think that was rash at all, if you ask me.
My tiny dog can use whatever dog park it wants.
Good friends of mine have a female bulldog and my husband and I have a male golden doodle. These two dogs love each other and we try to let them play together when we can. This story takes place when both dogs were about a year and a half old, very rambunctious, a little obnoxious, but very friendly. The key players are me, MF my friend, EPP entitled pet parent, EGF entitled girlfriend. My town had a nice dog park that is divided into two sections. A larger portion of the park is meant for big breeds and a smaller section is meant for toy breeds. My friend and I are walking with our dogs through the big dog portion since both puppas weighed about 50 pounds at the time. They were off leash, but we kept them close by since they were still learning their manners. We had also brought my friend's Boston Terrier, who is a big dog at heart and loves to play with the big dogs. We were walking along with our three dogs, meeting others in the park, addressing behaviors in our dogs as needed and just having fun. About 20 yards away, EPP and EGF walked towards us with a tiny Yorkie cross. This thing weighed maybe 5 pounds. My doodle went over to meet her, followed by Bulldog. EPP,
What the F?
He freaks out and starts grabbing for our dogs and yelling. This scares his dog, which starts yapping and runs off. This gets Bulldog going, who chases her. We ran over to get our dogs as soon as he started yelling. My Doodle came when I called, but Bulldog got spooked at the yelling. EPP then starts kicking out at Bulldog and screaming at her,
"Get your effing dog before I kill her! I'm going to kick her head in!"
My friend is trying to keep her cool and telling him to stop yelling and kicking so that she can get to her dog. EGF starts in, calling us the B word and the C word and telling us if her dog gets hurt, they are calling the cops. My friend managed to get her dog back on the leash and had the grace to apologize. Me, "There's an area for small dogs. If you are worried about your puppy, don't bring her here." EPP,
"I'm calling the cops. If your dog comes back, I'm killing it. It almost killed my dog."
I think MF would have unleashed hell on EPP if I hadn't have grabbed her and started to walk to the exit. EPP and GF were yelling at us the entire way out. Yes, our dogs are rambunctious. No, they are not perfect. They are much better now and continue to improve as they get older. Please, for the love of dog, keep your guinea pig sized dogs out of large dog areas. Sincerely, sad Bulldog and confused Doodle. As usual, Karen thinks the dog park belongs to her and she can do whatever she pleases. Anyway, let's continue. Girl destroys everything because she wanted attention. So there was this girl I knew, Irina. She was a very nice girl who was really charming, always poised and making people laugh. I talked to her every day during my second hour class. However, over time she started to tell absurd stories that got more and more dangerous. They started off as petty lies and became life-wrecking. She lied about things whenever someone angered her. At first, she told me ridiculous things to try and gain my attention, like that her boyfriend was a king or her dad was a neurosurgeon. She took anything I was interested in and told me how she was way better than me in it. Not great. Then she starts seeking more attention. She goes in and starts to say very dramatic things to people in order to get what she wants. She said she had cancer, that her brother and father had died in separate murders, her mother died in childbirth, etc. None of which were true. And then the real shit began. After I questioned her stories and expressed doubt, she began to get super aggressive. She threatened me with a knife and began to lie in order to get revenge on others. She said a boy who had shoved her in the hall had raped her and the staff even believed her. I had to go in with a group of friends and testify that we knew she was lying. She had been with us when she claimed she had been raped. She reported me to the school for sending her nudes, which did not happen when I got into a school she wanted to. She thought if I got in trouble, she could immediately get my spot, even though she was near illiterate. Later, she also claimed that another girl had tried to murder her. Eventually, she left the school and I heard she was still pulling crap, putting death threats in her own locker and blamed it on my friend after an argument. She also claimed a boy raped her again, even more crap. Eventually, I told her if she did not leave me alone, I would send texts or threats to the police. That girl is either a pathological liar or has a mental disability. Either way, it would probably be clever to send those threats to the police. Alright guys, that was all the Entitled People content for today, and now we will move on to a story from r/Entitledparents. Entitled Mom lets EK into our home without permission and then threatens to sue for racial discrimination. The cast is me, M for mom, J for cousin, K for aunt, EM for entitled mother and EK for kid. We held a garage sale this morning that went from 8 AM to 6 PM. The sale has a steady stream of 3 to 5 people at a time, but it was relatively uneventful until about 11:30. I was working the cash register for a majority of the time and I found people watching interesting from that perspective. My mom was working at the register with me while my cousin and aunt were walking around everything, reorganizing and such. At about 11:30, a mother, EM, and her son, EK, came walking up. I need to mention now that they are both African American, as it's an important detail for later. They did the expected browsing, EM looked through clothes and home decor, while EK looked at the toys, games and books. I take a quick lunch break, so I switch out with my cousin and I walk around the side of the garage and into the house. I get to the kitchen when I hear the door open and close, and then footsteps up the stairs. I assume it's my mom, so I keep filling my plate. The door opens one more time and I hear my mom say, "OP, are you in here?" I respond with a yes and she asks, "Who just came in here?" I get up to see what she is talking about and I can see both my aunt and my cousin are at the register. I realize that means that it was not my aunt, cousin or mom that just walked into our house, or that my mom was playing a cruel joke on me, which I felt was not likely. So now someone we don't know is in our house, and that is probably one of the scariest feelings. My mom goes back outside and I go upstairs. I specifically remember closing every door upstairs, my bedroom, mom's bedroom, spare bedroom and bathroom, but the door to the spare bedroom is open slightly. I peek into the room expecting either a creepy old man or a ghost, but it turns out to be EK? EK is just laying on the futon couch watching TV. Hey, I say to him. EK just looks up at me and then looks back at the TV. "Why are you in here?" I ask him. EK does not acknowledge me at all this time. "Hey, I ask you a question," I say sternly. EK doesn't do anything. I walk over to him and grab the remote and turn off the TV. He sits up and stares at me intensely. "Get out, this isn't your kid's house." I'm so glad my aunt came into the house when she did, because she heard and came up. "Who's this?" Kay asks me. "Some kid, I think his mom is outside," I respond. "Do you know where your mom is?" Kay asks EK. Kay walks towards EK and grabs his hand. She pulls him up and takes him outside. I follow them outside because I'm curious what's gonna happen, and I can tell this will make a great Reddit story. And watch Kay reunite EK and EM, and it wasn't as happy of a reunion as I thought, however. EM,
"Unhand my son. Come here, EK."
EK walks over to her. Kay, "Why was he in the house?" sternly. EM,
"Well, that other boy walked into your house. Why can't my son? Is it because he's black?"
yes, she really stooped to that level. Kay, "Ma'am, he lives here. Your son does not." EM,
"I don't care. You cannot kick my son out just because he's black."
Jay finally snaps and says, "Listen here, woman. We never said anything about you being black. And we never said anything about having a problem with you being black. And your son cannot come into our house because no one gave him any permission. We can and will call the cops if this happens again."
"You cannot kick him for being black. We'll come back with a lawyer for racial discrimination."
Jay, "Effing try me." EM scoffs.
"Come on, EK. Let's get away from these racist pricks."
The two walked away quickly. Luckily, no one else was there to see this scene. We continued the garage sale like normal for a few more hours. So it was a pretty eventful day. And actually, I found a comment in this thread that is very much accurate. It was posted by Jake1956. For the most part, I think the vast majority of people here in America are decent. The problem is, the troublemakers are the ones who get all the attention. I have rarely met a person of color who acted like the EK and EM in the above story. Sure, they exist, but they are not nearly as numerous as they are hardworking, polite and decent people that I meet every day. I honestly cannot think of a better place to live, but of course that's just my personal opinion. And that is very much true, and that's why I always tell you guys to not take the stories too serious, because obviously they only focus on the bad people for the most part. But either way, that's the end of the story. Thank you very much for watching. And by the way, we already reached 3,500 plus subscribers, so thank you very much for that. And honestly, I would have never expected that so many people listen to me, especially on a daily basis. I really cannot thank all of you enough for this. So I hope you have a great day and I see you tomorrow. Oh, also before I forget, if you like Pro Revenge, be sure to check out my daily Pro Revenge uploads.